Hello and welcome to another episode of Words with Myself. It's been a while. I know I haven't released an episode in just over 2 weeks, but I finally took a holiday and I've come to Thailand, where it is beautiful and sunny and warm, and at home it is in the minus degrees. So it's very nice to be here with the nice weather. But as with all things, paradise brings out a lot of thoughts. It makes you think about if the place is perfect, then the person is imperfect. If there's nothing wrong with the environment, all of the problems become about the self. It's easy to fall into the trap of analysing and worrying about whether things are good enough or not, whether you are good enough or not. It can be really challenging to sit in paradise and not ask, what's next? What's more? We're so used to asking for more, getting more, doing more. It can actually be quite hard to switch off and sit still. So even when you are standing on a balcony, looking at the waves of the ocean, sitting in 27-degree weather, you find your foot tapping and your mind racing, and you continue to think the same thoughts you thought of when you're at home. No matter where you are in the world, you can't escape you. And I think a lot of people believe that going somewhere or moving away from where they live is an answer to their problems. And for some it may be. For some it might be the start of a journey that gets them to where they need to be. But for a lot of people, it's just another form of escape, another set of distractions. And as with all things, it's temporary. So, while I was sitting on the beach, I was thinking about my 20s. It was my birthday just gone 2 days ago, and I turned 28. And despite not being at the end of my 20s, I was still thinking about my 20s and what I've accomplished, how I've grown, how things have changed. And one of the main themes of my 20s was I felt like I was on some wild hunt for purpose, for some reason, for some answer to a question that I only vaguely understood. I was searching for a path. I was looking for something to give life meaning, to help me understand how to navigate the world. And it seemed to me at the time like everyone had it figured out. Everyone was doing jobs that they wanted to do, or had hobbies that they were obsessed with, or they had something in their life that gave it this distinct meaning. And they had, they were either going to university and they were looking forward to starting their dream careers. And I started my career very early. So I already had gone on that journey, and it felt like I had almost skipped 20 years into the future. So in that, I knew already that end state, like the dream of the career and buying a house and doing all that kind of stuff, it gets quite short-lived. Once you've accomplished some things, once you've made some headway in your career, you realise that the career is not enough. Once you've bought your house, you realise that the assets aren't enough. You want a bigger car, bigger house, more holidays. And I was left looking for something more meaningful. And I realised that it doesn't exist until you make it exist. We feel like we need to search for answers. We need to search for the path. We need to find it. We need to find something that connects with ourselves. And we end up thinking and worrying about so much things. We'll try different things. And maybe there's a lot of things that we love. It's not that we don't have anything that we enjoy doing. We enjoy lots of things. And we can't pick one thing to base our life around. And for some people, that's a very simple thing to do. And, they can become obsessed. And a lot of that is how people reach the great status of, any chosen profession. is that they dedicate their life to it and practice only that for a considerable amount of time. But I'm not wired that way. I'm not one-track minded. I like the variety. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. But I do. I like the mix. I like trying different things, exploring different hobbies. I like being well-rounded. I get really frustrated when there's something new that I've discovered that I can't do. But I also really enjoy it because it gives me the opportunity to learn. And what I did learn in my 20s was that I need to stop focusing so much on looking for the answer and spend more time doing, not worrying about where things are going or where the path leads, but just take steps, make action, do, because you can't plan anything really. You can have a vague plan, but then it might not go correctly, and you can't account for all the variables. So why have a plan in the first place? That is a huge overgeneralization, and I'm aware that a plan has many benefits. But for the sake of argument, I think planning your life becomes redundant. You can't plan your life because you have no idea of the conditions of it. You don't know where you'll be in the world. You don't know how you'll be. You don't know if you'll be fit and healthy. You don't know if you're going to be alive. You have no idea. So how can you make a plan when you know that the plan is not going to be correct? It's just redundant to me. It doesn't really make sense. So I decided to stop dreaming, stop searching for a direction, stop obsessing over looking for this answer, this thing that's going to figure it out, that's going to make me feel connected and make me feel better, and just start doing. If you're somebody who is in this position where you are looking for answers, you are looking for direction or a path, the way that you find it is by wandering in a certain direction. Just aimlessly pick a direction and go with it. And then maybe you realize that you don't like where you're going. So you change. And then you head in a new direction. And then you change. And then you change. Until you find something that you love, that you feel connected. And you know that that is also going to be temporary. Because as you get older, you'll have different wants, different needs, different things that you want to experience. Your life will change, and so will you. So the dreams will change, your purpose will change. The things you want to accomplish will change. The things that you judge yourself by, the metrics of success that you use will change. So there isn't really a use in looking for one answer, or one purpose, or one plan. And you may find it. You may find one thing that you're really connected to, but you're only going to find it when you're already moving, when you're already in a direction. Even if it's just, I fancy trying dancing lessons, or I really want to learn how to sing, or I really wish I could draw. All of these vague imaginations, these things that you want to try but don't have the confidence to do, the ways that you hold yourself back, thinking that you're incapable of doing things. I think that is what holds a lot of people back, is that they don't know their own capability. One thing I have always been very good at, to my credit, is I've always been quite aggressive in my pursuit for doing what I want to do. Picking a path and going with it. And I think what happened was, as I got later on in life, a lot of the paths that I picked, I'd done it. I'd achieved a certain degree of success in what I wanted to do, or I'd got what I wanted to get out of it. And then I'd done that a few times, and then I was like, oh, I keep getting to the same position. I keep finding something I want, or having a dream or a goal, and then achieving some degree of success in it. Being satisfied and then realizing, well, now I need another goal. And this can get quite repetitive. It's not really an optimal mode for living, because you end up just repeating this cycle of want and need and satisfying a want and need. And it kind of becomes more related to hedonism, where you're just satisfying temporary wants and you're not really walking with purpose. And that's what I always wanted was purpose. But what I lacked before was intention, was a true understanding of why I want to do this and what I want to get out of it. Because even when it comes down to something like a hobby or something that you're doing for fun, if it wasn't a big deal, you would probably be doing it already. There is something there, and you might not even know what it is yet. But if it is, you've always wanted to draw, or you've always wanted to paint, or you've always wanted to sing, or you've always wanted to try martial arts, or whatever it is, and you hold yourself back, you think, I won't be able to do it, or you're nervous about starting, or you don't know where to start, and you keep using these excuses, like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to start, or any number of excuses people give to not do the things that they know they need to do. You end up with this itch that desperately needs to be scratched. But after a while, you get used to the pain, so it stops becoming as noticeable. But those things are still there. Those dreams, those wishes, those wants, those things that you want to do, those things that you really feel like you would connect to or enjoy or love to do. If you stopped holding yourself back from those things, if you decided to start trying out for classes or looking for answers, looking for how you can start doing what you want to be doing, I'm sure you're going to find some vague truth that will be revealed to you. Something that is pretty obvious, but also very deep and meaningful. And if you're listening to this completely confused and have no idea what I mean, I'll give an example from my own life, where I've always loved martial arts, but I didn't start training till quite late. And there are many reasons for this, but as it got into the later stages of my life, a big part of the reason why I wasn't training was because I was worried. I was worried that I wasn't going to be as good as I thought I could be, that I was going to get injured. All of these reasonings kept coming up. But when I truly committed and started training in the way that I wanted to, so much more got revealed to me. It wasn't just a vague truth, it was answers. It was things that I knew but I'd been avoiding. That, I lacked confidence in certain areas, that my ability to deal with confrontation and how I felt inside, there was this anxiety towards dealing with conflict and aggression that I kind of knew needed to be faced head on, that needed to be confronted. And only by starting that did that begin to start an entire journey, something that absolutely transformed my life, because that was what I needed and I knew it, and yet I had avoided it for years. So these things that you think are just silly wants, like, I want to learn to paint, but I could never, or I'm not good enough, or, if that's something that you want to do, there could be a deeper truth revealed to you through that can transform your life. And sometimes you just need to get over one or a few fears, and that is it. It's the fear that stops us doing it. And once you can identify what that fear is and make moves towards conquering it, you can truly begin to free yourself. Because it might be that you are an incredibly creative person, that you are capable of doing all sorts, of really bringing joy to people's life through what you create, of translating complex meanings into something simple that people can understand. All these different forms of art are available. And maybe it's not art. Maybe it's something physical, like martial arts for me. Or maybe it's writing, or canoeing, or kayaking, or traveling, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Stop dreaming and start doing. Thank you for listening.